What if I told you there was a single habit that could actually completely change your life? No, it's not the usual cliche advice like wake up early, work out, or meditate. This is something almost no one talks about because it touches on aspects that many find uncomfortable or offensive. However, understanding this one habit is the only thing that will set you free in this lifetime. To help you understand what this controversial habit is, I'm going to share with you the story of a man named Liam. Liam was born as an only child to two parents who were perpetually filled with anger. He never needed an alarm clock because his morning alarm was the sound of his mother screaming at his father. She demanded he be more attentive, more patient, and berated him for spending all his time at the office while neglecting the house. Conversely, Liam's bedtime story was his father yelling back at his mother, demanding that she appreciate and respect him more. His father would constantly try to explain that working himself to the bone was his way of contributing to the household. The five words Liam heard his father say thousands of times were, "Stop trying to change me." Both of them were deeply unhappy with their lives, from their jobs and social circles to the city they lived in. Instead of taking ownership of their own emotions, they chose to blame each other. They fought every single day. If there wasn't a big issue, they would weaponize small things like who took out the trash, who cooked dinner, or who drove Liam to school. The tension in that house was nonstop. Whenever his parents' war reached its peak, Liam would run to his room and turn on the TV. He intentionally chose to watch shows featuring happy families, places where everyone was always laughing, smiling, and cherishing each other's presence. It was the polar opposite of his brutal reality. Liam would often close his eyes and imagine himself as a member of those families on the screen. This wasn't just entertainment, it was an escape, a lifeline that kept him sane throughout his toxic childhood. But his small wish that he would wake up one morning to see his parents loving each other never came true. In fact, as time went on, his parents started taking their remaining anger out on Liam. They called him clumsy, useless, or stupid for minor mistakes like dropping a glass or getting a bad grade. Liam never stood up for himself. He swallowed his anger and tears, burying his head in the TV to forget. He believed that if he showed his true emotions, this hell would only get worse. Liam moved out immediately after his 18th birthday, cutting off contact to escape that poisonous atmosphere. Leaving home, Liam's ultimate goal was simple. He must have a happy family like the ones on TV before the age of 40. To him, money, career, or travel meant nothing without that. He believed without a happy family, he would die broken and alone. He threw himself into dating. He found a woman he really liked, and at first, everything was perfect. But once the honeymoon phase ended, the old nightmare resurfaced. She began getting mad at him for tiny things, being 5 minutes late, overcooking the vegetables. She became demanding, criticizing his income, his physique, and his intelligence. Because of his childhood fear of confrontation, he chose to sit there and take the abuse. He tried to change himself to please her, but the more attentive he was, the colder she became. He clung to her in desperation, but it was useless. She left him. That vicious cycle, meeting someone, trying to please them, enduring abuse, and being abandoned, continued for 20 long years. On the morning of his 40th birthday, Liam looked himself in the mirror and began to weep. Not because of a fresh tragedy, but because he realized he had completely failed the life mission he set 20 years ago. He was still alone. Sitting on his couch, despair consumed him. He thought to himself, maybe I'm not meant to be happy. Maybe that fairy tale family on TV is only for special people, and I am not one of them. The suffocating feeling from his childhood returned. Like a conditioned reflex, he turned on the TV to escape into a fantasy world. But the moment the screen went black, the darkness and depression wrapped around him again, colder and more painful than ever. He began to lose sight of the point of living. The next morning, on the bus to work, a strange man hopped on.
He wore old shoes and ratty clothes, yet he radiated a strangely positive natural aura. The man sat next to Liam and struck up a conversation. When Liam complained that he was a little tired, the man surprisingly said that he never gets tired. The man explained, the reason most people are tired isn't because of a lack of sleep. They are tired because they are carrying around heavy stuff weighing them down. When you carry a heavy load all day, you will be exhausted no matter how well you sleep. Their bus chats continued for a few weeks. Liam started to feel good just being around this man, even though deep down he was still contemplating ending his life if he didn't find happiness in the next year or two. One day, Liam asked bluntly, "How are you so happy? Are you on something?" The man replied with a profound philosophy. Anyone can be happy, but most people choose to be unhappy. That is because happiness has a price, and that price is everything. Liam was stunned. The man continued, "The price tag for happiness is everything that has ever happened to you, all your regrets, worries, pains, and past traumas. Most people only choose to feel the feelings they want to feel, and they do anything like watching TV or scrolling phones to distract themselves from the bad feelings. But the only way to pay for happiness is by feeling everything, including the bad stuff." He added, "You are tired because you have a 5,000-pound weight of past traumas strapped to your back that you refuse to feel. If you want to be happy, go to your room, sit alone, and fully feel all those negative feelings you have been avoiding." The man's words triggered something within Liam. He didn't go to work that day. Upon returning home, instead of turning on the TV or finding someone to fill the void as he usually did, Liam decided to sit in silence. For the first time in his life, he gave himself permission to be vulnerable. He lowered his defenses. Immediately, memories and pain suppressed for 18 years rushed in like a flood. Liam felt extreme resistance. Not using distraction to escape made him feel like he was losing his mind. For 72 straight hours, no TV, no phone, no video games, Liam just sat there and surrendered to the pain. He cried, he hurt, he felt the fear of that little boy again. It was the most painful 72 hours of his life, but it was the necessary surgery his soul needed. When he saw the man again on Monday, Liam admitted he felt like a mess. The man smiled. "Good, that is what an erupting volcano feels like. You have to let all that lava flow out so there is space left for happiness." Over the next few months, Liam continued the habit of feeling and releasing his emotions. Pound by pound, the emotional weight was lifted. He became happy by himself, no longer needing anyone else to complete him. The funny and somewhat ironic thing was that when Liam became truly happy with himself and established boundaries, he actually met the love of his life. At the age of 50, he got married and finally had that happy family, just like on TV, not out of desperate need, but from a place of inner wholeness. The lesson for you. The next time you are alone and feel negative feelings creeping up, don't reach for your phone or turn on Netflix. Just sit there. Give yourself permission to feel the pain, the loneliness, or the fear without judging yourself. This habit of releasing and feeling is the key to changing your life, setting you on a path to true freedom and happiness.